Hi, everybody. So, welcome back to the panel. Today, we'll be discussing episode 16 of season 6. I'm not a fan of all these breaks and coming back because I feel like just keep it straight, but I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like,
Yeah.
just have one season. There's no reason to make
It,
these breaks in
it
between.
just makes it seem so long and exhausting because now we'll have extra 16 episodes and then you'll be like, oh my god, what's happening? What's happening? It's like really crazy. So, now let's start off the episode. So the episode started off with this particular scene. So I'm going to be playing the clips while we speak.
Huntsville police are looking for this woman. A grown woman using a child to do her dirty work. Huntsville police say she started putting items into her purse. She also gave a door lock to the young child she was with. When she went to leave, loss prevention stopped her and she pulled out the stuff from inside her purse. But police say she told the child to keep the lock and then the two left. She was in such a rush, she almost hit two cars on her way out. All of that according to authorities. Now, if you recognize her, call police.
I'm sorry. Am I the only one that felt like the hi feelings? I felt like they studied too much.
You felt like they studied too much?
They did too much. Because it's almost like you
Yeah,
just painted someone's image. You didn't even this is something you should have given to like the police. Because they found out that she was not the one. So it was
Right.
like
That was way too much done. Like, no. You should have investigated more, but if we allegedly we know where it came from.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like how it got to Crime Stoppers, it's alleged that Tiffany's the one who even sent it to Crime Stoppers. Or even or
Wow.
the production. Yeah, so Tiffany's behind all this, allegedly. That's
Well,
what makes
someone
it
is going.
That's what made that whole first scene cringe to me is like the way Tiffany was talking about it. Like, girl, but you're the one who's involved in it.
Hmm.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, that definitely left a bad taste in my mouth, actually. I was just like, I understand it's a reality TV show and like that's what they have to do, like follow all the stories and stuff. So I'm not like mad at them for that. But if you're manufacturing stories allegedly or sending stuff to Crime Stoppers so that they can post it and make a mockery of this person, that's just not what they should be standing for, really. So yeah, no, that was not. Mm-mm.
And to talk about, like your brand and the influence of this hurting your brand. First off, Tiffany, you and Kiki aren't even tight like that. So why would it affect your brand? Like y'all don't have really any feelings together. So how does that affect you? I just need to know.
Yeah, it's just given like to
I don't know. It was cringe, honestly. It was just, I cringed watching it, just knowing, because all of this happened, we know a while ago. So we actually have the scoop on everything that has happened. And, knowing that it wasn't Kiki, we know all the real true information about it already. So for them to bring it out and put it out there like that, as if, like, you know, Kiki did this and Tiffany, you're just so surprised and oh my God, how could this happen? Like, stop.
yeah, I just feel like Tiffany needs to be focused on a new baby and like stop getting involved or meddling. Like first, if she truly did what everyone is saying that she did, then that's completely out of line. Like that is taking the absolute mick. Like there's no reason for you to go that far just because of a storyline or because you want to keep your bag. That doesn't make any sense at all. And I think also in respect of her then bringing it up to Mel, the way she brought it up, I'm like, okay, you have a personal brand, I get it, but You don't even interact with this woman. You're barely ever in her space. You already said you don't really know her like that, right? So, like, what would Kiki's involvement do to ruin your brand? I don't understand it. Like, how did your brand get into this when you don't even have any direct interactions with Kiki?
Right. That's what I'm saying. For her to make it as though Kiki would affect her brand and it's a bad look for her. It's like, girl, you're trying to involve yourself in something that has nothing to do with you. And like I said, knowing the facts behind it that allegedly you were involved in it, like, that's terrible.
Yeah, totally. Towards the end, I think there was an echo there.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah,
said that. But no, like the whole scene with Tiffany, how she brought it up to Mel. I do love the fact that Mel, like, she was not there for it and she spoke up allegedly. You know what I'm saying? That's how she said it. Like, no, that you, she's been accused of this. We don't know. We don't know the facts.
mm,
You can't say that she did. Like, she's not been convicted of anything. Still hasn't been convicted of anything. So all of this, it just seemed like it was just too much. They had to have some
yeah.
type of storyline, and I feel like that, honestly, that was just the Scots way of having Kiki be a part of their storyline.
Mm. Yeah, I think you're right because the way everything was brought, the way it seems like this whole season is about Kiki. So of course they're not going to be able to tell us whether or not what happened with Kiki until later on. It seems like this season is heavily being driven by that particular storyline. So it's just like, that's all the cast is talking about. It's like in every scene, it's like, oh, Kiki. Oh, Kiki. I'm like, oh, give it a rest.
Oh my god, I don't
Right. Kiki
understand that.
carried
I
that.
think that just threw me away.
Hmm.
I just don't understand. So my own opinion in this whole Kiki stuff is that I'm actually inclined to believe Kiki in this situation against what's her name, Tiffany. Tiffany had no storyline for the past 2, 3 seasons, and now she obviously knew that she was on the verge of being eliminated or removed or devalued to probably a friend or something. So she was like, "Oh, what's the best way to actually like bring myself or create some sort of like controversy?" Because as season progresses, then we'll start seeing more Tiffany versus like Kiki. The whole thing blew. It was like a big drama, even on social media. I even feel like Kiki is involved because I'm like, from where to where? You guys just felt like, oh, a store was robbed, and all of a sudden the whole clip got to Tiffany, and then Tiffany put it to Prime Chase. Do you see how that thing doesn't make sense? Or am I the only one who feels like that doesn't make sense?
No,
Yeah,
I'm with you. It doesn't make sense.
it honestly doesn't. It feels like such a reach. Like, how did it get there? So I'm not entirely sure how they got there at all. Like, yeah, I don't know what they're doing this season with that.
Because the way I'm not gonna lie, I actually liked the episode, but the way the whole case was introduced, girl, they
Mm,
came to visit your baby,
yeah,
and you're
focus
talking
on
about
that.
someone else. I mean, let me tell you, like,
What are we doing with our brands?
Girl, I cannot with you.
why? Because let me move it backwards a little. Because when she started talking about, oh, Kiki is affecting our brands and everything, I was like, girl, this is very, very unnecessary. How is Kiki affecting your brand? I don't know what
Yeah,
you're
like you
talking
are
about.
co-workers. You're barely in the same space ever. Like
Oh,
you're
you
allowed
are
to
good.
work with all sorts
Those
of
are our
people.
favorites. You look so cute. Today, I'm actually stopping by to see Tiffany. I want to see how she's doing after giving birth. And, just to make sure that having a newborn isn't too overwhelming for her right now. Nobody else has seen him yet?
No. He's
Because
been
she
at
did not talk about your
home.
Let
child.
me tell you, I
That's
ain't held no
okay.
little baby that little in so long. Woo! You look so beautiful, too, by the way. How you been feeling, Tiffany?
I mean, there's just been a lot that's happened.
What else happened?
So I'm sure you saw on the news what happened with Kiki. What are we doing with our brands?
Girl, I cannot with you. Why are you
This
laughing?
girl. Well, no. So Mel. So listen, we've had no. This is real talk for me, okay? Because you, out of all people, have said Tiffany, breathe with Kiki. Like, give her time, give her a chance. Like, because I'm like, damn, Kiki. Now, when I see something like that on TV, I'm like, obviously, you need help. Why on?
Because why? Do you see how the introduction made no sense? They just wanted the
Yeah.
storyline to stick. I was like, it was too obvious.
Right. Like, girl, you just had a new baby. That should be the opening and storyline you have. We followed you through your pregnancy. We seen that, you passed out last season, or before the break. Like, girl, talk about that baby. Why is the first thing you talk about is Kiki?
Yeah, I do not like that at all. It just feels like it was just being manufactured and forced into the story. Like they were talking about the baby, and she's like, "Oh, and the other things that have been going on with her." I even thought she was going to talk about, "Oh, the baby is not sleeping. Oh, this is what's happening with the baby. Oh, things like that that people generally talk about when they just had a kid." Next thing, she's like, "Oh, have you heard about Kiki?" I'm like, "Girl, you better dial that back. Like, can we talk about you for a second?" But yeah, mm-mm. And I think what
Let's look
Unprovoked
at
Auntie is saying in the comments is correct. Tiffany's a
which
busybody. She's
comment.
never focused on her own problems. It's exhausting.
Honestly, because let's look at it. We rarely, like, we basically do not know anything about Tiffany. The only reason
Yeah.
why, or the only way I actually knew what Tiffany does was I actually searched it online because I really
You
wanted to
gotta
know
tell
what
us.
she did. And funny enough, after searching online, I just have like a vague idea of what she does. If you ask me, what does
Okay.
Tiffany do? I'll be like, I have no like concrete idea. I cannot tell you Tiffany does this, Tiffany does this. You spent 5 minutes, because I know it's 5 minutes per scene or 5 minutes per topic.
Mm-hmm.
You spent the whole 5 minutes talking about Kiki, then wasted maybe then used like probably 1 minute to talk about your son and introduce him and then talked about you were having a party. Come on, Tiffany, you're not even helping us. People already called you a busybody and you have been an instigator since like the inception of this show. And I think now she's getting more desperate because people are like, girl, this guy needs to be, they need to be fired.
Mm.
Your
Right?
storyline is not
Because honestly, we
interesting.
only know what Lou does. We know what Lou does. What does Tiffany do?
Yeah, we definitely need more insight
Like, if
into
you're a
her
stay
as
at
a
home mom,
person.
just say you're a stay at home mom. There's nothing wrong with that.
I don't think she's a stay-at-home mom because when I searched, she works with small businesses. She helps them with getting like grants and all those kind of things. So that's exactly what she does. Now the problem is
Mhm.
nobody knows it. Even when Tisha and her fellow pick me were having like a discussion, you could see that they did not know. But I think that was like a shade because they know that most people do not actually know what she does. So it's Girl, talk about yourself. You guys have marital problems. You are just covering it all by talking about it's the same thing that the Scots are doing. They are diverting like people's view to other
Attention.
people. Because if you look into the Whitlow's marriage, her husband looks bored. She's a workaholic. And they're like, for them to have this child, they were planning their sex and everything. That means you guys don't even have. I understand that married couples they have less sex than actually single people, which is very funny. But you guys, this man was sexually frustrated how many seasons ago? You have
Yeah.
many problems in your marriage.
Yeah, I feel like, sometimes she might even try to like stay busy just so that she doesn't have to really face the issues that she has in the marriage. But people do
Is she
that
even
sometimes.
attracted to him?
That is a very good question. Yeah, because when I see them interact, I don't really see, ooh, oh, there is love here. Like it just feels like people that have just agreed to do life together. But maybe it's just me.
Almost like it's a forced kind of feeling to
Like
have.
it's an
Like she's
arrangement.
supposed to feel that way because she asked him to marry her, but I don't know, like, if it was because of it. And, some people don't always marry because of attraction. It could just be that maybe she married because for a certain type of stability. I don't know.
Yeah.
But she's rich, so there's nothing like stability in this case. So that's why people do not know anything about her. But let's
Mm.
move on from that scene. So going on to the next part of the episode. And that was Mattel and
Mhm.
Chris.
Mhm.
You know,
Definitely Mattel.
Mattel is the kind of friend that they tell you to run away from because it's a
Mhm.
vampire.
Entitled vampire.
Oh, when I say that scene right there, I was ready for Chris to just go across the table and like, look, we're
Mm.
not going to do this. Or just like, I'm glad that you let him know, like, no, you're not going to get 90 days, you're getting 2 weeks. Like, you've had enough
Yeah.
time. And the way that he tried to really gaslight him and make it as though, like, Chris was saying, oh, no, you and your family have to be out on the streets, I don't care about them. Like, that was so out of pocket.
Yeah.
Like for real.
I kept looking at
I mean,
Chris. I was like, Chris, say something.
he's fine.
Like, I was just like,
He
Chris,
was
like you're so calm.
stuttering. God,
Yeah.
he
I was
was
like, Chris,
stuttering.
no, handle him. Like Chris looked like, wow, I can't believe you're sitting in front of me with this BS. But yeah, no, I
He
think
was probably like,
I'm
this is
very
not what
curious.
we planned to film.
Yes, exactly. I think that's what it is. I feel like Chris and Mattel probably thought, okay, this is what we'll talk about. And then Mattel came and went off script, and Chris was totally blindsided. That's what it was given.
So let me play the clip.
You. What's the deal? You know the house is due to be sold
as soon as I move out. But no,
No, it ain't as soon as you move out.
no, you said you can't close until I move out. That's why
Well-
I'm speeding it up too. Well, it ain't that I'm speeding it up. I've been speeding it up ever since you gave me 30 days. I'm like, man,
And how long has it been?
like 40 some days.
More than 30 days.
Yeah.
The house has been on the market for 8 months.
This house been on the market for 8 months?
Mhm.
I'm saying what that mean though.
That's how long you've had.
The broker guy told me that so the owner's on a sale.
Yes.
So I mean that's what's up. This is the market to sell everything.
Well, yeah.
I have to start now because my lease is up in about 6 months, you know?
Martell is taking advantage of the friendship by continuously staying in this house. I think he's looking for me to give him special treatment, allow him to continue to stay just because he's Martell.
At least once you find someone that's interested, I'm thinking that you'll be like, hey, listen, as a friend, hey, Martell, I'm going to talk to the.
Let me just talk because that thing pissed me off. It just gave me like PTSD because I've been in like several friendships, and then you guys are like, oh, do this, I will help you this way, and then they'll start taking advantage of you. It was the fact that he was boldly chastising Chris. And Chris sat there and took it. I don't know if it was the editing or anything, but Chris started stuttering towards the ending of this conversation. Almost like he didn't want to say his mind or he didn't want to like embarrass like Mattel on camera. But this dude was making you seem like, oh, you are doing the barest minimum and then you are saying that I'm being ungrateful and all that. It was very, very sinister what Mattel did there. Because he gave you how many days to stay. He has put the house in the market for 8 months. So I remember when people noted that, oh, this was not actually Mattel's house. And I can remember, Gigi, you said that he has refused to film surrounding of like the surrounding of the house. As much as I bashed this
Mm,
court, at least I've seen like their compound. He only shows
right.
this particular place or that or the parlor where there's like a couch. We've never seen any other parts. And that's why people they never show like the front of the house. That's why people never really knew that the house was like in the market. But people started
Mm,
saying, "Oh, this house doesn't look like Martel's house," because I know that he had no house.
mm.
Was it not?
Yeah.
What's his name?
I knew
Carlos
that he
that
didn't have
covered
the house.
the
Because it was
go on.
brought up when, when him and Mel were going through the whole battle, and it was talking about him not being able to have a place, or him not really having a place to live. But at the very beginning, did y'all see how he acted like he was confused or didn't know what Chris was talking about when he said that he was upset about him being subpoenaed? And then Chris had to elaborate about him being subpoenaed without knowing for court. And
Yeah.
he's like, oh. It's like, dude, you know exactly what he was talking about. And he did that same thing when Chris was telling him about the house being on the market for 8 months. And he's like, this house, like, you know exactly what is going on. You are
Yeah.
really, you're a squatter at this point. Like, that's what it is. Like, you have no place to live, you have no money, you're broken, you're trying to do any and everything you can to basically run over your friends. You feel like just because these people are your friends, you should be able to have any type of leeway you want, and they're supposed to always have your back. Like, in certain cases, I understand. Yeah, as a friend, you do have your friends back, but right is right and wrong is wrong. You can't really like tarnish this man's brand or business just because he's your friend. If you were his friend, you wouldn't even want to do that.
Yep. And I think it was interesting when he brought up the kids and said, "So are you going to leave the kids homeless or something along those lines?" I'm like,
Classic
why would you
gaslight.
do that? Gaslighting. Like, you as a parent, you're the one responsible for your kids. So you should ensure that they have a place to stay. If I've given you 40 or 30 days to find another place to live in and you don't do within the 30 days, then you don't take the welfare of your children seriously. What does that have to do with me? I gave you the timeline. All you had to do was find a property. Like, I don't understand how that works. And also with the subpoena thing as well. I feel like Mattel did think he was going to bring it up on camera, and so he was going to act like he didn't know what they were talking about. But then when Chris basically called him out and was like, I didn't appreciate you calling us into that. We're not going to pick sides. I feel like Mattel just expects everyone to keep quiet whilst he's using them for his storyline, however he wants to bend the truth, and expects everyone to just sit down and look the other way. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see the digital exclusive clip where Mattel was basically saying to Chris that he's going to reduce the rent by £100 because I think someone that came to see the house actually brought dirt into the house or something like that. And the way
Come
he was,
on.
I know. And Chris was like, but why didn't you get pictures? Where are the pictures? He didn't have any pictures to show. So, and instead he's like, oh, he had to get someone to clean it. If truly you had to get someone to clean it, the first thing you'd say is, let me call Chris and show him. Let me take a picture. You didn't. And then he said, oh, I can't have that because my children run around the house, play in the house. They don't expect to wear shoes in the
Can't
house.
you just say
All
stand
of
in
that.
one corner?
I know. I'm just like, oh, classic Mattel. Now you want to reduce the rent by 100 quid. Seriously. After overstaying your welcome to begin with. So yeah. Mm-mm.
All right, that was truly appalling when he put the kids in it, and then to make it like, oh, if you don't care about my kids, just care about the money. Like, okay, anyone who's in business, you have like, okay, if you, it doesn't matter who you are, friend or not. If you live somewhere, you have to pay rent. If the house is on the market and you have a month lease, the owner has the right to tell you have to get out because the house has been sold. You have to get out when you're told. It doesn't matter. And especially if you've been given more days, he gave you 30 days. You stayed past those 30 days and now you're requesting another 90 days. Like, who do you think you
Three
are? I just don't
months.
get it.
3 months. So you should stall his business for 3 months because you're looking for somewhere to live. And you know that conveniently at the ending of the conversation is like, oh, I found a house. So why do you need 3 months to move into that new house?
He's
Come on.
just trying to make everything
Or
difficult for his
was he
friend.
actually waiting for his husband Carlos King to clear his mother's like mortgage? I remember that he cleared
Oh,
Carlos actually helped him clear his mother's like debt. So was he waiting for that or something? Because I don't understand.
are we using allegedly, or is this a known fact? Because I'm not quite sure of that
It's a
one.
fact. It's not alleged. It's a known
Oh,
fact. I think this was about
interesting.
2 months ago. So
Hmm.
it was like a very big news. Some people were like, why is Carlos not acting like a producer? I understand that you want to like extend a helping hand once in a while, but why are you always extending only to Mattel?
Yeah, he's too heavily involved with Mattel.
Person, I done already did the video on that because he wants to be a housewife and Carlos wants to be Mrs. Hope.
Mhm.
That doesn't make sense.
Okay, I'll say alleged in my opinion.
Allegedly, huh?
Nobody wants to get sued. But yeah, this kind of people, Mattel is the kind of people that they make you very weary of helping friends. I mean, he did the same thing to
Mhm.
his ex-wife. Why did Chris think that he was not going to backstab him? If he could throw
That's the
Mel
thing.
out of the house without a mattress, without nothing, Mel had to start from the ground. He took her to court, said she should pay for his lawyer fees, ask for child support. Dude, that's his ex-wife. It's his ex-wife that is saying all this, that he needs all this from her. Who do you think you are?
But that's the thing. I feel like when it comes to like friendships and relationships, people always think like, oh, how you are in like a relationship with the opposite sex is not going to impact their friendship with you. But usually, when you treat someone when you're not getting on, the way you treat that person should tell me how you're going to treat me at some point. It's only a matter of time and under the right circumstances, right? So, like for me, when I saw that, I was just like, what did you expect? Like it wasn't, I couldn't say I was shocked about Mattel's behavior from what we've seen from him over all these years, right? He's the one that sat in front of Mattel looking shocked. And I'm like, dude, you clearly don't know your friend. That's a problem. I would watch that one if that was my friend. I'm just saying.
So it was actually
Yeah.
like very funny to me because I don't understand him. Like, when you are a friend in between two couples, like two people that are about to get divorced, you really do not want to be forced to pick any sides. And that's unfortunately where Chris Fletcher like found himself. And this is why I have a problem with Nell. Why couldn't she just be like her husband? He decided to remain neutral. While seeing the trailer for the part B of the episode of the show, we could see Nell screeching and screaming, Mel, did you cheat on Mattel? Did you cheat on Mattel? Like, oh, shut the fuck up. You're supposed to be neutral. I just don't
Yeah,
understand
I
why people
personally
do
think
not
Nell
get
is
this thing.
messy. I think she's messy. I think she's always been messy from day one, let's be honest. The way she sort of always found herself in some mess, there is an element of her loving the mess, right? So I think, yes, she tried to be neutral, but she's like, I'm curious. I want to know what really happened also. So she's like, I'm gonna ask and ask and ask. And so she actually wants the mess. Besides, I think she wants to keep her job as well. So there's an element of wanting to bring it.
But the funny thing is that you don't need to be messy. You can just be neutral. I think the problem with this show is that most of them come in, then they start getting little fame, and they're like, wow, people are sending me DMs about how they like me. People are sending me like comments. People are liking me here and there. So now, this one thing with fame, it then starts creeping in, and then you start feeling like maybe I should actually like do more. Maybe people will actually like me if I give them more action. That's the same thing with Stormy. Stormy came in. I actually liked the vibes, like okay, but then she started becoming so stormy. Let's just yeah.
Yeah,
So
same here. I did like
disappointed.
Stormy initially as well. I did like her initially as well, but I feel like the most times, because they're getting the fame, they always feel like they need to perform. And then once they start performing, then people are like, yo, we don't like this performance. We don't like who you are now. So we're not going to support you. Instead of staying true to who you are, and then you would find your place on the show, people come feeling like they need to overperform or they need to perform to get approval and then end up having a bunch of people that don't like them. Like now, I'm sure the only reason Stormy seems to be changing things and how she's running herself this season is because of the kind of smoke she's been getting. Let's be honest. All of a sudden, instead of calling for Kiki, which in my opinion, that's something she would have done, in my opinion, all of a sudden it's, oh, I wonder, I just feel bad for Kiki, whatever she's going through. Girl, you're only saying that because, in my opinion, you're only saying that because you know that the fans will drag you again, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
So it's sad. So let's move on. So Tisha decides to visit Kimmy. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I just don't understand why this scene was put into the episode because it added nothing. If the scene wouldn't have been there, nobody would have missed it. But let me play the clip because I have actually forgotten everything that was said.
I'm finished with everything.
Oh, you're completely done.
For the record, my cancer treatments are over. So my new reality, however, are multiple doctor's visits. But the other part is behind me and we're moving on. I couldn't be happier.
We've been going through a lot these couple little weeks. That little lunch that we had with Tiffany and Stormy, I ain't stand them girls. Like, for real, for real.
They
I told
was doing a
Tiffany,
whole thing.
don't be inviting me to this BS. I'm happy this is just a meetup between me and Kimmy because that Stormy and Tiffany situation, it was awful.
I just felt like the Willows were left out.
But you weren't. But you weren't. You weren't.
I didn't even like the way you responded.
Every time I feel like I need to respond a certain way, that's how I'm gonna do it.
Stormy, what's your problem, girl? First of all, you're not a part of the comeback group. Secondly, you haven't done anything. And now you want to sit up here and criticize everything that we're doing, criticize our organization, criticize the setup.
I think they're just mad that everybody's searching for this scam that they were. That's the vibes I'm getting it. Because why are you scared of being in the presence of the other women? Stormy read your husband and she said the truth. You guys were very unprofessional. I didn't know what actually made me even side eye them the more. When we found out during the episode, when Kimmy and Maurice were speaking, they said Kimmy said not everybody paid. So the people who actually came earlier did not pay. It was when they started noticing that they had more vendors. They were like, oh my God, this is the money, money. Let's actually get some money. That was why they did all this. So I'm like, why are you saying you are doing something for the community when you're trying to get a quick money grab? And then you're mad that you were called out because you guys are very unprofessional. And to be honest, Tiffany ought to have been there. As much as she was heavily pregnant, she was the only one who had any idea on running a small business. Your husband could not even give an opinion on how to get grants. That just shows us that you guys are running something shady because you are running a small business. How did you get a grant to start up? I get it that Black is not owned by only them and they're multiple other partners, but starting something like that plus all the fake accolades you guys are attaching to yourself, you must have definitely got a grant from somewhere. So if you do not know how to get grants, how did you run your business?
Yeah, I think to be honest, one thing they need to actually accept is they don't know how to run businesses. In my opinion, they don't know what a business is. They don't know how to run businesses. They shouldn't be giving any advice on how to run a business to begin with. Like that scene, I was like you as well. I completely zoned out. And when you were playing the clip, it was almost like I was watching it for the first time. I was like, girl, I don't know what these people are talking about. Like, I just feel like I'm with you on that. Like, that scene was totally unnecessary. Also, did you guys also pick up that even Tisha was kind of like, oh, I will pray about it, about like showing up to Tiffany's thing? And I'm like, girl, when did you start using that line? Like, it's like nothing from your mouth is original to begin with. And I just kept thinking that scene, first of all, you as a businesswoman, it's it's non-existent. You're not a business person. Your husband isn't either, because how do you show up, have no sponsorship, or let's say have your sponsorship, right? Tell people to come and speak at your event, tell people they can come and exhibit products at your event. There is no entry fee whatsoever. All of a sudden, you switch that up and then start asking people for $100. It definitely feels like a money grab. I think they probably saw, ooh, we're getting a lot
Plus,
of
if you can
people, a lot of
remember, they got
traction
$100,000 in sponsorship.
in sponsorship.
Nothing
Interesting.
changed.
So what else do they
Yes.
want, right? So now you want
But
to
if
get
you listen,
$100 for business.
when the expo was going on, when Marsha went to Stormy and asked her for that $100, and she said, "Dang, sounds like y'all hard up." He said, we are," and he said that that money was going in their pocket. He said it when they had the
Hmm.
expo, and actually, when we did the review on it, I said something about it then. Like that money was going in their pocket. That was for them. And yes, Tiffany should have been there and should have spoke because she knew more than all of them. And for Kimmy to just be so, no, you did, girl, you don't know. You don't know the communication that they had. And just because they called the night before the event, that is not giving a person a heads up, or letting them know, like, hey, we would like for you to come and speak at this. Like, when Tiffany said, hey, if there's anything, let me know. I would love to help. You could have
You're breaking, or is it just mine?
Yeah, no, Gigi, your internet
You're
is like
breaking.
dropping, breaking. Can't hear you.
Gigi, you're
Still
breaking.
can't
We
hear you,
can't hear
Gigi.
you. I
Mm,
think our internet has actually gone off. But yeah, they
yeah,
just collected that money, not because of they cared about anything. They collected it for their pockets. So, because I'm definitely sure they never spent $100,000 for that event because the show covered it. That means the show gave them money. You get it? The show would
right.
have covered the expenses. The show, like, I'm trying to think, what exactly did they use the 100K for? And what did they use the extra $100 that they collected from multiple like vendors? And if you can remember, some vendors did not get space.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So it was like you were collecting money, some people were not getting space, but you were just collecting. There was no food. Because if we're going by Kinney words,
Mm,
you expected me to be there from morning to afternoon, no food, no nothing. I should just be there speaking. Are you like, come on? And it's not like other people came to even patronize. It was not an open event. It's not like they had like a football field, they had canopies, and everybody were
mm,
like showcasing, and many people were coming. No, no, no. It was fellow like vendors that were patronizing. So if you came there, you most likely did not make any money. Hi, melanated. You most likely did not make any money at all.
hello.
So it was
Mm,
like, to me, it was a loss.
yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I'm just like, why would I guess maybe people that paid 100 quid were actually thinking like it would be a great turnout, because I'm just thinking for a small business to come to display their products to an event that is not open to the public, like how much are they really potentially going to get? And it's not like the show gave them a lot of coverage where you could actually see their products and then go and look for it online. So what would they be getting by paying that 100 quid to begin with? And also, if you're doing something for the community, you can't pay your speakers. The audacity of you to actually charge people to display products. does not make any sense. You said you're doing something to give back to the community, then you should give back through and all in all, and not charging certain people for some things and not charging others. It doesn't make any sense.
And the fact that they
Yeah.
were coming at Mel saying, oh, we don't want to give back to the community and we are not
Mhm.
charging the community for anything. Meanwhile, you want to charge us to give you something. Those were their words, their exact words. So, how did you guys
Yeah.
go from that to this?
Mm-mm. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. And I just looked at the
Like,
comments and I can see what Unprovoked Auntie said. I mean, Tiffany would have been a good ad. Maso looked dumb on that stage. You know what? He's totally did. I remember that question that someone asked him. I think was it about like fintech or something? I can't remember the exact question.
yes,
And it was
fintech
just
and
out there
grants or
looking
something.
so dumb, like looking absolutely ridiculous. Like he should have actually tagged Tiffany in. But if they knew what Tiffany did, maybe they would have. But when I don't understand being in the same space with someone and not trying to find out what they do to begin with. Like if they paid attention to Tiffany, maybe they would have been able to say Tiffany is a good person to speak to on this one.
But they did not. Because she's like, no, I feel like you don't even need to pay attention. She says it several times. Oh, I deal with small businesses. I know much about small business grants. She has said it several times on the show. And that's
Yes,
why she
it
has
does.
always told Tisha that the only reason why Masol made her as the head of the black group and schools is because they would get like women grants.
Really good grants. Yes, this is true.
So she knows these details. Oh, Gigi, you're
Mm.
back. Sorry, I was not looking at my screen.
It's okay. All I was saying, can you guys hear me good?
Yes,
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 we
we
can.
do.
That
We
was
can.
actually really
Okay.
good.
When it comes to Marcel, Marcel has to be the one to have like the upper hand. He has to be the one to, in his mind, he is the head honcho and the leader, even though he does not know how to lead even a marching band. Okay. Like he has no business acumen. Like I don't see, honestly, even with the degrees that Tisha says that she has, what are they? Like what are your degrees in? How are you using those degrees? Because that expo did
Management.
not show that, honey, that expo did not show no management. It showed that y'all know how to scam. Like, is that what it is? Because there was no reason at all for them to go to Stormy and ask her for anything or even go to other vendors after the fact. That's so out of pocket. You need to have that in the, when you give them their package for having a booth, their booth package should have what the booth rent is. The booth rent has to be paid by a certain date and time. Like all of that should have been taken care of. You don't go to somebody as they're setting up and then ask them for some money. And then you go on
And
stage.
then embarrass her.
Right. You go on stage and embarrass yourself and her. And then even when it came time to like having someone in the crowd, why didn't y'all ask Tiffany? Like, why wasn't she able to really like stand up and give her intake? Because she would
Mm.
show y'all up, I
Because he
feel.
will feel like he's not man enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she would show them up. She would actually make them look like they are dumb and don't know what they're doing, and they could not have that. And what I was saying before I broke up is the way Kimmy was acting at that lunch that they had, where she was basically telling Tiffany like, "Oh no, Tiffany, they did include you." Like, no, they didn't. Just a call the night before is not an invitation. If you don't formally invite me and say, "Hey, can you do X, Y, and Z on this date at this time?" I would appreciate it. This is what it is. Whatever. That's not inviting her to something. You basically saying, "Hey, we're having an expo. Do you want to come out?" That's just you saying, "Come and support." Okay, I can support you and walk around, buy a couple things from the different vendors. I could do that. But that's not the same as, you know, asking her to speak. And even if you don't know what she does, honestly, you know that whatever she does, she's doing it better than what the hell y'all are doing. Even as much as Tiffany gets on my nerves, like she does know how to, you know what I'm saying? Like she knows something. She's doing something right.
And maybe they need her help with their businesses since it's not working out so well. Maybe they need a Tiffany. I'm just saying, like maybe perhaps
Right,
they need to
get
be
you a
very
Tiffany, because right, because Mel's not helping. You see, they tried to get Mel to give them the free game again, and she's like, "Nah, you got to pay for the class." So you might want to try to go to Tiffany. She might be your best bet.
hmm
But my soul likes to be the man in charge. He does not like asking
But he's not
women
in
for
charge of
help.
nothing. He's not in charge of anything. Can't handle nothing.
That's why the next scene was hilarious when Courtney confronted him.
I can only imagine that Stormy's attack on me has been misdirected and interpreted as if I somehow checked her. What you drinking?
Just water.
You on water right now?
Yeah.
Had too much fun?
Nah, I ain't had no fun lately.
That sucks.
Yeah. How was the Black Expo?
It was good. It was good.
Was it?
Went really well. I think had a good turnout. A lot of people came out. Got a lot of positive feedback. So
A lot of people pay $100 though, huh? From what I heard.
One person didn't pay.
Yeah.
But it was actually multiple people. But I don't know what this website is doing, but video article.
I'm
But we
very,
can go
very
on.
sorry. Sleep. We've been leaving. I didn't get the freaking for.
Sorry, guys.
Am I the one with? I was wondering what was going on. I was wondering if I was hearing things. Gigi, who is that in the background?
Sorry, that was my husband.
I was like, am I hearing things or what? Well, I hated the way he actually made this whole scene look weird. Because Courtney is coming to meet you like man to man for what you did. You cannot tell people who are multi-millionaires that, oh, they should pay $100. As much as I bash Stormy because she's actually very unprofessional, you are trying to show everybody how to run a business, and then the morning to the event, you're telling them to pay $100. The scene that actually really like took me off was when he started counting the dollars on the table. Oh my god, Masa was pissed. That's why I started taking that drink in, because I'm like, why? Did you even see when he was like, oh, when Connie said, why are you always in women's business? And his excuse was that, oh, but you are also in women's business because you're selling hair products.
I'm like, was that supposed to be shade? Was that supposed to be a read? That fell flat. That did not hit it did not hit the way he thought it would. I'm sorry.
Right.
Like it did not
Do
hit.
you not know how many millions have touched his hand off those hair care products? Like,
Well,
you
maybe
might
that's
want
what
to
you
try
need to be
some.
selling. Because your businesses aren't working, are they? Maybe that's what you need to be selling.
Maybe rub some hair product. Maybe because you are void of hair, that's why your brain is not working. Because that was like really, really stupid of him to say. And in his mind, the way he was like smirking, it looked like, man, I've insulted
I'm like, who
like
wrote that read for you? Who wrote that flash
Right, like
read
he
for
really
you?
thought that he hit him low. He was like, "Oh yeah, I got you." Like, no. And the way Courtney stood up and pulled out that $100 and said, "You know what? Here, this $100 is a tip for you. Don't give him none of it." Like, that's what happens. But the way that Marcel, even in the very beginning, when he was like, "Oh, the anger that was directed towards me," and I feel like this was like,
From Stormy.
no, why
Like,
are you
what?
trying to switch it as though Stormy came up to you and kind of try to hassle you the day of an event about somebody that was never even spoken about? Like that is another form of you being, a BAN.
Yeah, and being
Because that just
manipulative.
was crazy. Very manipulative.
Yeah. Like he came
It
out
was
like
like,
he
oh,
was
we
the
wrote it at the
victim.
bottom of the flyer. It was on social
Well,
media.
I'm supposed to read the bottom of the flyer on social media where I direct contact when you invited me to speak at your event, where I'm getting 0 cents for speaking at your event that I should be getting paid for, and you're expecting me to believe that that flyer
I
also
totally
applies to me?
understood Mel
Nah, you don't want business with these sort of
because
people, in my opinion.
it was so dumb. I'm speaking for free, no food. I have to. She gave her products for free. She promoted your event. She sponsored your event. Took time out of the time she ought to be packing all those back orders to just attend, and then you're like, oh, you're supposed to give me $100.
The audacity.
Right. That's what it was. It was the audacity to even after though you were done like this was against you in some form, and how dare she do this to you? Like, no.
It's like I'm
Like
doing you a favor
Stormy,
by
if
showing up
it
at
was
your
not in the
event.
package, and how is it that only some people had to pay and some people didn't? And it's crazy because Maurice was like, wait, we paid $100. What do you mean not everybody had to pay? Yeah, not everybody had to pay because your brother only started charging
when a certain amount of people came. And the fact that they kept it hush hush. I'm telling you, I can't even remember one single business from that whole expo. Probably maybe that girl that wanted to sell Mattel the organic vet country or something like that. I can't remember her face. I don't know what her business is called. Nothing. So what was the use? So I paid $100 for what?
For nothing.
There
What
were
a
no
waste.
buyers. Vendors were the buyers. You got there to listen to some seminar of some dumbass that knows nothing about businesses. To me, it's actually a lose. You're not getting anything. Not even 1 minute of. I think they should have actually done a special, and they would have given every single business maybe 1 minute to introduce themselves. Because I'm sure some of them have like Instagram handles and stuff like that. So definitely some people are on social media and to be easy to find them. But that was a very simple and logical solution to this whole thing. A simple special immediately after the episode drops, you could have dropped a special to show every single business. So I feel like it makes no sense for you guys to have this whole issue drag to this extent, and then up to date we did not hear anything, or we don't even have an idea of any of the vendors. That one. So why was that a big issue? Why did they make it a whole drama for how many episodes? It was like 5 episodes, right? So what was the use? You did not give back to the community because the community never actually gained anything from this.
Right. And then Maurice actually made a good point because he was like, hey, if I had to pay $100 the same as Stormy, we should have had a big enough booth as well. Because didn't they have like a little table in the back of the room or something? Like, come on. It should be fair. Like, that's the whole point of having, protocols. That's the whole reason why you make sure that in the package, everybody knows their dimensions for how much booth space you have. This is the amount for it. If you want extra booth space, it's going to be an extra cost because of how much space you're taking. He did none of that. So it really was unfair that people were paying money, but they wasn't getting like equal amount of space or even exposure.
Yeah. I think the
Nobody
reason
got
why the Scots,
exposure.
yeah, I also think the reason why the Scots will struggle or have and will continue to struggle, in my opinion, unless they fix it, and then allegedly when it comes to business, is because of like the instant gratification thing. Now, if you have not told someone that they need to pay, you cannot step to them on the day of the event whilst they're setting up already to ask them for the money you did not tell them about prior. It makes you look bad. That's not how you do business, right? So now everyone that is watching the show sees how you handled Stormy, sees how you handle your business. It does not reflect well. So when you don't then get as much traction as you should be getting in business, you can watch back and look and see this is what you did. Because you wanted $100, you want to mess with your bag and what you could potentially get. Because if I was a viewer watching from home and someone gave me an opportunity to work with the Scots, I would be saying no. On a personal level, I would be saying no because I'm like, what are
ASAP.
they going to do? Change
They
the
will pay
contract
you with
midway
exposure.
and then change the contract midway and ask me for money? Hell nah.
No.
Mm-mm.
You want to talk about tarnishing a brand or something being bad for your brand, Tiffany? Fucking with the Scots. That's what's bad
Mm.
for your brand. Because I feel like all they do is scam. Like they're the type like Ponzi schemes. I feel like that's really what teacher went to school for. Okay, I'm gonna say I have a degree in
Let's
this.
put allegedly. Let's put allegedly on that.
Okay, yeah, allegedly on that.
Cool.
Because it's just like too many. It just doesn't make sense what they do. And then you're sitting there. I could understand if it was $1,000, $1,000 for the space you had or the booth rent, but $100. Come
Mm.
on. And he, like I said, he admitted that they were hard up and the money was going in his pocket. So you guys are broke, in my opinion, and allegedly. That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
They maybe needed the money to keep.
Right. It is definitely there, and we can see right
It's
through
a
that
lot.
cheap ass wallpaper that they have up.
They just need to be honest because, like Stormy, everybody is lying. And melanated energy, I agree. How Stormy say, oh, because I have a viral post on TikTok, people are now buying my body glaze, so I'm going to stop production and shipping of all my hair products. God,
Mm. That is a reach.
you know that. Let's not do this,
And it's like, do you
please.
think we're all stupid? Like, I don't understand. Like, how do you come up with these things? Mm-mm.
Be honest.
I don't think
I'm
they
having
give the
several
audience credit.
lawsuits. And because of that, I
Mm.
have like lawsuits with like shipping, product. Like she has so many lawsuits because of Canvas Beauty. She's like, oh, thank you, Jesus, the body glaze is going. So I might as well like push it out. I'm not sure they have
Mm-hmm.
extra like workers. That's why I was even irritated when that scene came up in the episode. Because I'm like, seeing this from the future, I'm like, why are we seeing this thing? Why are you showing us your warehouse? Why are you packaging stuff as a multi-millionaire? You can't see me as organic woman in a shop packet. It's not possible. You've gone
Mm-hmm.
past the limit where you should be packaged. I understand you doing it once in a while to show people, oh, how things go on and all that. I totally understand. But the fact that you are your own staff, that's a red flag. And now you've totally sidelined all your hair products that people actually know you for. What? Because it's crazy to me. Your brand is named after your hair products, and now you're selling body glaze, and like I'm going to just focus on body glaze every time I ship 4,000 products, 10,000 products a week, blah blah blah. That's crazy. How does it make any sense? None
Like
of
you
their
said,
videos,
red
like
flag, red flag, red flag. It's just a lot of red flags that come out of that. Like, I just don't understand. Like you said, you are your own employee. How is that? Like, you're your own staff. Like, how? Help me understand how it is that you're a multimillionaire. You have this huge warehouse, but the packaging conveyor belt you had was like a little small ass personal one. Don't you think you should have a bigger one if you got a big warehouse like that?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
at
I don't
this
that's
know
point,
if
honestly
the
the
you
show
least
should
we
have
that
can do.
staff.
I don't know if the show is the thing that is making her feel she should not focus, or maybe the show is distracting her from her business. I think I would have liked that more if she was not on the show, because now that I'm watching her on the show, I'm like, damn, wow.
Not very
You
likable, is she? It's hard to like
It just
someone
doesn't make
where,
any sense.
especially when she's not like living up to expectations. I think in a way, most people, because we've heard about the brand, we're expecting to see more business acumen from her. But then being on the
I
show and
have
seeing nothing
used the
but
brand.
the direct opposite is very disappointing. And I think that's what she's going to struggle with. Like, people expect a certain level from someone who claims to be a multi-millionaire, especially from, these so-called products, right? So you expect a certain level of you expect not perfection, but pretty close. And for her to be so far removed from that, I think, yeah, people are not going to, yeah, people are not here for that, I will say. Also, you said you've used the product before. Is it good? Should I be getting some Canvas
It's
Beauty?
actually really good. That's why
Mm,
I'm in utter like confusion. Her product is like
mm,
really, really good. I think after Miele's hair products, I will rank Canvas Beauty. No, no, no. I think I will put 4C before her product. But it's
right.
actually a very good product, especially the hair growth. So it's
Hair
crazy
growth.
to me that
I might
you
try it
are
then because
releasing.
I want to grow my edges out a bit more. Might try that one out.
I'm even going bald. I'm going to like shave it off.
Is it?
I wanted
Or
to
the
do
braids. To be
some
fair, you have the face
trials.
for it. So.
See, I have to find something that's gonna be good for my locks because my hair is thick, but it's also curly and stuff. So, and I don't just trust any and everything and everybody likes products in my hair. So
Yeah.
I don't know if
As
I could
someone
use
who has
canvas.
lost two, girl, I get it. I get it. That's why I'm like, I'm
Right?
sticking
So
to
it's
just my
like,
edges.
Yeah,
right.
anyhow, like it's honest, allegedly. She's not the only one who sells body glaze. There's actually a woman that's like a bigger seller. So that actually is body glaze.
Mm,
It's the same thing, the same scent. They just like mix it up, change like the cover. It's just you need to just search body glaze. I think it almost has the same name. So it's like, why are you foregoing what you're known for something that is popular? Body glaze is just like something that makes your skin shine and makes you smell good. Many makeup producers do it. So it's like
mm. Maybe there is something we're not seeing or happening behind the scenes with Canvas Beauty. I
allegedly
think that's what that is. Allegedly. Yeah, let me
she
put
has
allegedly,
she has
sorry.
lost the how do I put it?
Right?
She has lost the approval, yes, the right to produce it, and she's in court for
Mm,
many other cases. So I think it's
right.
affecting her production of Canvas Beauty allegedly. So I think Black Titanic was reporting about it on something like she has been going to court within this like period, and they've not been allowing like fans in because of how delicate the whole thing is. So
Mm,
kudos to her.
interesting. We have to see how that plays out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So now let's go to the next
Rebrand, I guess.
thing. Yeah, she
Mm,
can actually rebrand for
I think that's what she's trying to do. Afternoon ADR.
so this thing.
So at this point, I'm trying whatever I can to get this sex thing back on track because it's clearly not. It just absolutely isn't. So I'm hoping the Yanni egg will get us back on track. Even if it doesn't help me right away, trust me, it helps him. I don't know if it's strictly a physiological thing.
This is a mental thing, Kimmy.
Okay, Dr.
You
Marie.
can't say that.
I'm telling you, it
A
is.
medication made me feel this way. For you to think that all of a sudden I can just make my body want to have sex, that doesn't happen like that. You said you
Why does this
didn't
man
want
think
the
about
whole
sex,
fake it
sex?
thing. So that's what I'm trying to fix.
That's why I'm saying if you're faking it, that means that you're going through the physical process and you're doing a good job of faking it during that process. So physically,
I can't lie, I think Timmy is
everything works
patient
fine.
because I would not have been able to
You
stand
would like
and
to
speak to
feel
him like this if he
aroused
spoke to me
when
like
you
that.
have sex. That's part of having sex. That's not a mental thing. Same way you get an erection. Is that physical or mental?
Mentally, it starts and then it becomes physical.
For you to tell me it's all in my head is actually not going to help the situation at all.
Oh.
You're blaming this on a mind thing. I'm blaming this on a medication that in a textbook says can happen when you take the medication.
So how long does it take until it wears off?
I don't know that.
You didn't read that? You stop right there. Most people, when they go to see a doctor, you say, hey, you have this ailment. We're going to give you this treatment. And then you say, how long till I'm good, doc? And he says, it ranges, but it's usually this period to this period.
When your body is going through anything, everybody's reaction to it can be different. Everybody's recovery can be different. They said for this, it could take even up to a year.
So I got a year. Let me set this.
Oh, this
I need some
asshole.
type of end to this.
That particular angle of conversation is not helpful.
Shouldn't I have like some type of like idea?
The whole conversation is not helping. It's not the angle. The whole conversation is not helping.
You've asked it 4 times.
So we're on the same page then. We just need to find out when.
Sure. Google it.
Come, like, oh, I was irritated. This thing would actually take me to court. Like, straight up, I would call my lawyer. We're getting a divorce.
Like, if you can't see how much respect he doesn't have for you at this point, like, what in the hell is going on? How in the after the last time when he was on that Fox Soul with Funky Dineva and he was saying the shit that he was saying and couldn't backtrack, didn't care to try to fix it, was still on the bullshit where he was just like, hey, I'm gonna say this because I need sex and it's about me and what I want. I wanted to shake the shit out of him then. But at this point, you know what? Drop his ass off at the train station. Take his name off that house. Go to the lawyer. Do some. Let his ass go back to Detroit. He got to go.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of man or husband is that? You just finished fighting and been through chemo, radiation, and all of this, and there's no respect for this woman, and you're telling her that her not wanting to have sex is mental, not a physical thing, not, produced by medication, because it can affect you and make you not want to have sex. But just to be an asshole about it all.
Like, how do you know what's going on with her body? How do you know her or her mind, like you said, right? How do you know? And I'm just like, even if it's in her mind, right? Even though I don't think that's it, but I'm just saying, why can't you be emotionally intelligent? Why can't you be sensitive? She's been through a lot. The way you're responding to her is not helpful. Instead, you're being very antagonistic. And it's like, you're then saying, oh, let me set the timer. I'm like, you're such an asshole. Who does that? Like, and for me, I'm just like, I'm looking at Kimmy and I'm watching her and I'm like, how do you even have patience for this nonsensical man? Like, he can't stand in my face and be
Because
telling
she's
me, let me
trying
set
to
the
keep
timer.
him. She knows the way she got him.
She does. And she knows the only thing that will keep him is probably sex like 5 times a day or something. And that will probably still
That's
not
how it
keep her.
was. That's what she was doing, all that dress up and stuff, which is fine. Role play in your relationship. Keep it spicy. But shit happens sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And she's an older woman. She's not young like that. Menopause is hitting. Like she done went through this cancer treatment. You better be lucky she wants to touch your big toe.
Hmm.
And it's just so
Like,
sickening
if
how
you're
he just
going to the extent of using yoni eggs, God,
Just so
stop,
she
stop.
can
Let your
satisfy
body
him.
heal,
Mm-mm.
please.
Yeah.
and I agree with
I'm just like,
Leandra.
that's just
As
that's the
you know,
process.
as Maurice unveiled, I think so too. Marcel learned this shit from Maurice because Maurice is the older brother. So the way that we see Maurice or Marcel acting, oh, he learned this shit from Maurice, and Maurice probably learned it from the other one.
And they probably learned it from their father, in my opinion, allegedly. Mhm.
I mean, the Haley must
Mm,
the epitome
I
of
agree with that
fatherhood.
opinion.
At the age of
Mhm.
28, having how many siblings did he have at 28? What did he even say that time? I do know that the number was more than 11,
Yeah.
though. And it was
Yeah.
like, yes,
Nah.
he was there. But then the next minute he said he
Mm-mm.
was not there. I wonder the kind of image is teaching his child because I do not understand why your wife is fighting or was fighting cancer, and then you know that she will take like a year plus to even get back to the mental, physical state. Some people will take 2, 3 years to get back to the mental and physical state that they were in prior to
Mhm.
finding out they had cancer. And then all you're bothered about is sex, sex, sex. It gives me the vibes of all those men that their wife just gave birth and they're like, oh, I want to have sex. If you cannot give me your whole, you might as well use your mouth. That's the vibes I'm getting here.
Mhm. 100%. And it's given the
Yeah,
fact, given I
absolutely.
only married you so you can be a sex, you know, I don't want to say the word, but that's literally what I married
Sex
you for.
toy.
Just yeah, or well, that works too. So you can just be there, performing, as opposed to I married you to be a, life partner and share life with you. It just gives that's the only thing I think you bring to the table.
It makes me question what really goes on behind the closed doors of that secret room at Black.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm. And I know we've heard all
Allegedly.
sorts of things
What is always
go on there
wanted.
allegedly. Mm. Mm-mm.
Because
And
he seem
also in
like they
ways,
seem like the type like, oh, since my wife's not doing it, then I should be allowed to go get it from somewhere else. Like that's the vibe that they give. Like they feel
yeah.
like
And
it's
do you
okay
think she's
and it's
preparing us?
justified.
Do you think she's preparing us for what could potentially come out in the future? So
They will
that, like,
definitely get a divorce.
uh,
I used to
well,
think Kimmy
they
was
will
so
use her.
smart and just like, I was like, oh my God, Kimmy is just so smart. She's on her shit. She's not going to take no shit from nobody. But now I'm like, girl, what is really going on? Like, Kimmy, you could do so much better. And after fighting for your life, literally fighting for your life, this will be the time where I'm like, oh no, you and Uncle Bill can all go somewhere. Little Bill, Uncle Bill, bald head, tall head, whatever you want to call them. Y'all all just scurry on somewhere.
Yeah, Kimmy lost me even more when he did those interviews and got slammed. Then she did an interview with him and she forced out us viewers for being in their business, messing with her man basically. So fuck with that opinion. Yeah, that interview was so embarrassing. She was like, "No, I
Hmm.
understand. This is how our relationship was initially. So I understand Maurice of how it feels, and I also wanted the sex. That's why we have to talk about the sex. So you guys don't come on Maurice. It's a problem between both of us.
But are we
I wanted
surprised though?
to
She's always been
pretend
male
I did not
identified.
hear that.
She's always been male identified. Are we surprised? Even with the thing with Melody and Mattel, she was always like, being so nice and chummy with Mattel every single time. So, I'm not surprised. I can't say that I was surprised that she would say that in defense of race. And also, I think in a way, she's also preparing us because she knows deep down, in my opinion, he will cheat at some point. And so she's preparing us for when we find out so that she can say,
Or
oh,
he has cheated, but it's not in public.
yes, exactly. So that she can prepare us so that with this storyline we understand, oh, well, he wasn't getting it from home or something like that. So I feel like that's what they're trying to prepare us for because it does not make any sense.
I don't know.
And I
Because if
agree
it
with
was a
Leandra. She needs to
sane-minded
take off her
woman,
self-esteem and self-respect. It's currently in the toilet.
and actually that comment, let me go respond to it. Because someone made a comment telling me that when women or partners starting tend to start getting older, they they start taking bullshit from the others because they feel like, oh, I'm already older, time is gone, there's no need finding a new partner. I might as well just like go on, things are not this
Mm.
serious. So I'm starting to see the same pattern going on with Kimi because if she realizes that she's a hot babe, Kimi is fine for her age.
She is. Yeah.
She takes care of herself, her
Yeah.
shape is good, she's
Has a really
pretty,
good body.
telling you. But she's
Mhm.
probably thinking about the age part. She's like, oh, I'm entering my 50s, things are not looking good anymore, the streets are dry, men are raggedy, men are bums, and it's not easy to find a fine man like Maurice. We all know Maurice's definition of a bum. What does he do?
Mm-mm.
But she's willing to take it.
It's
Yeah,
just
I think it's
disgusting how he has no compassion or care for his wife. It's all about sex. It's all about what his needs sexually. Like he's not even talking about like, oh, well, she's not there for me mentally. She's not there for me, emotionally. It's all sexual. And
that's
he's
what we
not
talk about.
understanding like at what point are you going to actually be a husband and say, hey, honey, like my wife, I understand that you're going through this. Instead of me adding to the stress that you are going through, let me try to take some of that burden away. And he's had plenty of chances after the foxhole. You didn't do it. You didn't do it after even Kimmy came and tried to be Captain Save-A-Ho. Like that didn't work. And you're still bashing her and doing this where we're all seeing it. Like at what point is Kimmy going to say enough's enough? And she actually, like Leandra said, pick up her self-respect, dust herself off and say, look here, I can do better. I deserve better.
I don't think
Like
it's
don't
happening.
want a man so damn bad that you're willing to really just go through all the shit now.
I think that's exactly it. I don't think she's going to stand up and do anything for now. I think she's going to continue to do exactly what she does. And when eventually, in my opinion, comes out that he's cheating, she's going to stay by him and stand by him and say, we're going through a rough time.
Oh, see this comment. Kimi and Monster, Senior, aka Miami,
Mm.
we have no storyline. They have storylines. They've dragged us all down their rabbit hole about their sex life since day one. Dr. Francis even counseled them cheese. To be honest,
Mm.
because I know the simple solution: divorce Kimi and marry a younger woman. I mean, the solution is just there.
Right.
And
It
as I
went
said
from
the
they was
other time,
having sex all the
for
time to
you
now they're
to
not
have
having sex
to,
much.
for you, yeah, it's a sex audit. That's why I'm even getting at. For you to want to have sex 3 times, there have been so many studies that have come out. When you get married, that's when you will have the lowest amount of sex because you're working, you're trying to combine the family and do everything. Who even has time for sex? Like you guys, when you guys are in a relationship, you guys are still like enjoying life. When you get married, you realize that it's not all beds and roses and everything. So the fact that you every day at your old age, you want sex 3 times a day. How many young people do that?
Even how many single people do that? Like, I'm just
I
saying,
mean,
like,
we're not
even if
teenagers anymore. Like, come on now. Y'all are grown ass adults, and this woman is older than you. She is not no young whippersnapper. Like, come on. I'm sorry, honey. That coochie cake, it has to rev up. You got to kind of push the primer on that thing a little bit sometimes. Like, that it's not no regular, come on.
and them youth
Dang.
probably
He,
18, like,
he's the type that just wants to stick.
hit the break.
Maurice is the type that just wants to stick it in, no lube, just dry, just no
Probably has
foreplay,
no
just
skills,
straight to it.
nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he does not look like he has any of that.
Okay.
Nothing.
It's just like really
Ooh,
sad that
unprovoked
Kimmy
aunties
is
onto something.
down in the rabbit hole, which was comment. Oh, Kimmy knew that she was once a side chick, so she would do anything to please Morris. Because you see, Kyra doesn't need to please Morris. It would
Mm-hmm.
always mention Kyra, knowing that she would feel insecure because she knows the way she got Morris.
Yeah.
At least she's a side chick that eventually upgraded to the wife.
Mm.
So
Mm-mm.
good for her.
But the thing is, they're always paranoid once they upgrade to the wife because they know
Ariel should
what
learn
could
something. At
happen
least
if it
she's the
turns out okay.
wife.
Mm.
Ariel needs to
Mm-hmm.
learn. At least she's the wife. That's my point.
Ooh, Aaron is never gonna be the wife. Mm-mm.
Never.
Not his wife anyway.
When Mattel knows he can do better.
Yeah.
Because let's stop lying. As much as we bash Mattel, there are women out there testing after him.
Mm-hmm.
Because I
Yes,
know that
because they feel like they could change him, or they
yes,
feel
I
like they could
entered one
be
person's
the.
panel.
It's like, yeah.
I'm not going to mention the person's name because I know that everybody can have their own opinion. Some people will definitely like Martell, some people will definitely hate Mel. Like, that's your opinion. But the way she was writing, saying he's a good man, she would like to let me see the video is still up. So like she would like to date him. He's an honest man, but Melody ruined him, and then she's bashing his name. That day I was like, damn, wow. You must be watching 2 different shows. If
Most
Melody ruined
definitely.
him, she's away from his life. And this is like 3 years. Okay, let's say 2 years post final divorce. And for someone
She
who
doesn't have
feels
to
that
pick up
he
the
made
pieces.
her, why can't you make yourself?
Yep, or Arian at least, at the very least.
Right. They all say, well, if it wasn't for me, they wouldn't be this. I made her, just like Martell said, he made Mel. Kevin Hunter tried to say he made, Wendy Williams. Like, come on. Y'all talking about y'all made these women. Why can't y'all make them again? Your side chicks ain't turning into
Or why
nothing.
can't you
I don't
make
see any
yourself?
lucrative businesses coming from the side chicks. Or exactly, or for yourself. Like, hashtag produce some funds. Produce your own self. Like, come on now. Produce a new life.
Produce a
Let
side
me
chick.
see. Like,
Like,
do something. That is just crazy how they just like you can ruin your marriage, go step out, act like you are this, like you are the man, but then as soon as the women leave you and it comes out that no, they were the ones that was behind everything, and now you have nothing. You're sitting there looking stupid, and then there's pick me women talking about, oh, it was the wife who did them wrong. If the wife would have did this, are you serious? Like, are you serious?
She became a Stepford wife when he took her on that belated honeymoon. I mean, how many years did it take for that honeymoon to happen? The Three Stooges, Mashu, Maurice. How do you call it machine? Late at night, swooped our brains out first. Oh,
I'm sorry, I had to mute myself and laugh because what the hell was that?
Oh shit! Circuits and wires.
So do we have an imposter or what?
but
ADR.
seriously, is it only me? But I realized that there are too many people with their names starting with M on the show.
It's annoying.
Like,
Yes.
come on.
It's hard to
Why?
remember. Like,
Why?
Maurice. Mm-mm.
Melody, Mattel, Maurice, Marcel.
Because
Like,
it's like
come
they all follow
on.
the same trend. Like, okay, so all of y'all's names are M's. Then you made your kids' names with M's. Like, okay,
M.
that's fine.
Come on.
But
So I guess
right
we
now, I
covered
feel
the
like
entire episode.
Kimmy is in a. Huh?
No, go on. Go on. I was
I was
saying
I was
after
just gonna
we
say that
covered the
Kimmy's
entire
in a
episode.
sunken place.
She's in more than a sunken place at this point. Because this is only God can help her.
Speaking of it, hold
ADR. Oh
on.
my
I
God.
just want to
10
comment.
years later,
Hold on. I
Kimmy still whining. I want
want to say I got to comment something because you said
continue.
something. Did y'all find it funny how Tisha wanted to make sure to say that when Kimmy had asked her about going to Tiffany's baby, she's like, I'm gonna have to pray about it. Girl, since when? That's why Kimmy
That's
looked at her
exactly
like,
what I said when
since when
Kiki
did you
got dropped
pray,
out
girl?
You better go and get some cash. Because we know they pay you
there.
guys. So don't be dumb.
She's like, let me pray on it. I'm like, I wonder where you got that from. Like, constantly copying certain person that will not be named at the moment. It's like constantly, why? Why you gotta be copying her? Let me pray on it. Like, we know who you're taking notes from, honey. Mm-mm.
Right, like that's just it's annoying. But yeah, that seems to be the episode because, honey, it cringe.
I do know that from next episode, it starts getting down. Or the episode that they have like the ace party, it starts going down from there. And yeah, ADR, Kimmy will keep looking at Kaiwa for exoneration because she knows what she was. Your SIDECHICK, whatever you want to pronounce it as. But I guess that's the end of the review. Does anybody have any last words before we close the panel?
Well, we thank you all for being here and joining us. Please subscribe to all of our channels, like the panel, and make sure you are here with us every Sunday for the review for Love and Marriage Huntsville.
All right. Is it me or do I think we should change the time to earlier?
If we can.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'm
like
tired.
if, if I
Yeah,
give
that's
our
fine
time.
because it's
Okay,
early
let's say
here,
like
so
Oh, is it?
it's
Is
late,
he?
yeah. And it's
Yeah, it's late here
exhausted.
for us.
Jesus. I'll put some time like in the chat box and we'll just pick from there
Okay, fine.
in the
Let's
DMs.
talk about it first.
all right,
All
it
right,
sounds
thank you
good.
guys for joining. We'll see you
No
guys.
Thank you.
worries.
See you next time. Bye.